Hi, this is Khan from Ninja Pulls. New patch and a new setup and rotation for Stamina Nightblade, which is super strong and really easy because we never fire the bow proc. Yeah, I got some real mixed feelings about this one, but the numbers don't lie, so let's get into it. The gear is what you'd expect, with a couple of tweaks. Black Rose daggers are out because the Maelstrom 2H now buffs all your direct damage, perfect for Nightblade. Daggers on the front bar because Concealed Weapon now grants Major Berserk instead of a unique damage boost, so there's not much point running Wrecking Blow when daggers are stronger. Rapid Strikes is our spammable. I still can't get with the new animation even though it's been a year, but it is an awesome ability and I'll use it when I can. The rotation is easier than it looks. Stampede is 15 seconds, right? So we can pair it up with Path even though that's only 12 seconds. The important thing is the Major Expedition, which lasts for 16 seconds and enables the buff from Concealed Weapon. The two skills work together. We just have to cast Concealed Weapon every 10 seconds, plus keep track of a few other dots. This is actually a lot easier when we never fire the bow proc. Instead of dividing our attention, this rotation lets us spam away without worrying about our stacks or missing light attacks. You just keep an eye on Concealed Weapon and your dots and you're done. Here's the issue for me. Nightblade is my favourite class and I have no problem with it being powerful, but what made it great in the first place is all the moving parts and the awesome feeling you get when you line up a sweet combo. That's what made it so satisfying to play. And some of that definitely goes out the window when we ignore the bow proc and just slot it passively. I'm still going to recommend this setup because it's so strong, and I'm all about promoting rotations which are powerful but simple. But it's a shame they couldn't find a better way to keep this class competitive. And I really hope this is a one patch thing, because if ZOS allow this to become permanent, I think it fundamentally diminishes Nightblade in PvE. Here's the logic. The Magicka morph of Grim Focus, Merciless Resolve, deals more damage. That's why we all use it. The Stamina morph was always slightly weaker, but the buff lasted longer. That trade-off is meaningless now that the buff is permanent, so ZOS gave Relentless Focus a higher weapon and spell damage per stack to make up for it. You wouldn't think 100 extra would make that much difference, but I tested dozens of times on PTS and got better results every time when I didn't fire the bow proc. PTS lag is horrible for me, so the gap may be a bit smaller on live, but that just highlights the other advantage of this rotation. It's more reliable. If you miss a light attack, which we all do sometimes, it just doesn't matter that much, because you're always at full stacks anyway. Here are some dummy numbers to break it down. 132k with this setup and Relentless Focus without bow procs. 129k with this setup and Relentless Focus with bow procs. Sustain was a lot easier on this one. 128k with this setup and Relentless Focus, but with no bow procs and a completely static rotation. Sustain was really rough on this one and I ran out of stam at about 2%, otherwise it would probably be another 129k. You can go a bit higher than all of these if you stick with Merciless Resolve and use potions to restore Magicka. I tested this and I saw a couple of Stamblade CMXs from PTS at around 134k. Rai posted a video of his, but even he says the rotation is getting a bit complicated now, without any payoff. That's why I'm advocating for this rotation, because it's so close behind, sustain is better, and it's a lot easier to get consistent results. Like I said, hopefully it's just a stopgap, and ZOS just need a bit more time to figure out how to rebalance Nightblade and make it strong but skill-based the way it used to be. So let's keep giving them feedback and hope for the best. Pre-buff with Shade, Trap, Shooting Star, and a bow proc if you have one, just for the opening burst. Then it's Stampede and Path, get Major Berserk going nice and early, and then we're just spamming Rapid Strikes until it's time to recast Carve. Use Concealed Weapon when you need to bar swap. Rapid Strikes is a channel, so it's awkward to swap right after casting it. Try not to overuse Concealed Weapon. It is a bit weaker than Rapid Strikes, so prioritize the latter, especially following your ult. but at the same time, stamina sustain does get tricky in Execute, as you'll see, so it's smart to use Concealed Weapon a bit more freely in the early part of the fight to take some of that pressure off your stamina before Execute begins. I'm in 7 medium here, and I still found sustain pretty tight at the end, but I'm also using max stamina food. If you're really struggling, switch to Lavafoot Soup and you'll be fine. The damage can definitely go higher. This was literally my second attempt after the live servers went up, so with a bit of practice and crit farming, it can be beaten. I just wanted to get this video out to you guys on patch day. Trap, Debilitate and Shade are all around 20 seconds. Trap uptime is important, but don't stress about the other two, just recast them roughly on cooldown and you're good. Carve is easy. Recast it statically every other rotation. Unless your weaving is slow, then you may have to just keep an eye on it. Either way, never let it run out. If you can see your ultimate is coming down the pipe, it's worth reordering the rotation slightly to refresh dots and then focus purely on direct damage while the ult is rolling. But again, don't stress, it's not such a big deal anymore now that the ult lasts longer, so you can kind of fire it whenever it's ready, just try to avoid casting more than 2 or 3 dots during those 8 seconds. This becomes a lot more important in Execute. Speaking of Execute, this is the crucial part. Replace Rapid Strikes with Killer's Blade at about 33%, and from now on try to avoid casting anything but that during ult phases. Try to recast your dots so they're all running right to the end, but if you don't manage that, then let them start to drop off at 10% or so. Make sure Stampede, Trap and Major Berserk are up, and then just spam Killer's Blade until you're done. Like I said, I have very mixed feelings about this one. It just feels so wrong to me to not use the bow proc, let alone be rewarded for not using it. But it was fun to discover that this rotation exists, and how close it is to the top performing options for this class. When it comes to options, don't forget that bows are now pretty strong as well, so if you dig that whole archery thing, now's your chance. But I'm guessing a lot of people will want to try this setup because it's so simple. If you're doing dungeons, you might be better off without Carve and Debilitate. Dungeon fights tend to be either short or broken up into phases, so keep it simple and focus on burst. I am getting a bit tired of hearing people say Nightblade is shit, partly because that's too simplistic, but also partly because they do have a point, and I wish ZOS would fix it instead of making it worse. This latest patch has made Concealed Weapon utterly useless anytime you're using Coil or have Sorks dropping Atros for burst phases, so for really optimized groups, yeah, there's just no real reason to bring this damage class. But on the other hand, the vast majority of groups are not optimized like that, and Major Berserk uptimes are not going to be good enough to erase your edge. A lot depends on the player and the situation, so don't get too carried away with this tier list view of the game, it just isn't that simple. But one thing I think we can all agree on is that the devs need to give Nightblade some more love, and soon. That's going to be it for this one. There was kind of a lot to talk about, but I tried to keep it brief. I'm also trying to find more time to make more of these videos for you guys each patch, so let me know you're out there by liking, subbing, and also visit ninjapools.com for all of my DPS guides for update 39. If they're not updated yet, they will be in the next few days. You can also find us on Discord and Twitch and join the in-game guild. See you there, and thanks for watching.